Do not watch this video alone. Because what you are about to see is not just a story. Some people believe it is real. At the edge of a quiet town, there stands an abandoned hospital. A place that was suddenly shut down over 25 years ago. No official explanation was ever fully revealed. Authorities simply said the building was unsafe. But the people who once worked there tell a very different story. Back in the 1970s, this hospital was a place of hope. Doctors saved lives here. Nurses worked through the night. Patients came in, and many walked out healed. Everything was normal. Until it wasn't. Slowly, strange incidents began to happen. Patients started waking up in the middle of the night, screaming, claiming that someone was standing beside their bed. Nurses reported hearing footsteps in completely empty corridors. Machines in the ICU would suddenly turn on by themselves, even when they weren't connected to power. One patient even claimed that every night, a woman dressed in white stood in the corner of his room, watching him, calling him to follow her. Doctors blamed stress, hallucinations. But then something happened that no one could explain. One perfectly healthy patient got out of his bed, walked slowly to the window, and stared into the darkness outside. He didn't move. He didn't blink. He just kept repeating one sentence, over and over again. "They are calling me." After that day, everything changed. Staff began refusing night shifts. Entire sections of the hospital were left empty. And then, in 1998, the hospital was permanently closed. Today, the building stands in silence. Broken windows, rusted beds, stained walls. But locals say, the hospital is not truly empty. In 2023, 3 young explorers decided to enter the abandoned hospital and record what was inside. Their plan was simple. Go in, film everything, and leave. But what they captured quickly spread across the internet. The moment they stepped through the main entrance, their camera recorded a strange metallic sound, as if something heavy was being dragged across the floor, somewhere in the distance. They assumed it was the wind. They kept going. But seconds later, the microphone picked up something else. A faint, breath-like whisper. "Hello." The group froze. They looked at each other. But no one spoke. Slowly, they continued deeper inside. On the second floor, they entered a large patient ward. Rows of empty beds stood in perfect lines. The air felt heavy, cold. One of them whispered quietly, "Guys, it just got really cold in here." And right as he said that, the camera captured something on the wall. A shadow, slowly moving across the surface. There were only 3 people in the room. But for a moment, there were 4 shadows. No one moved. No one breathed. And then, from the hallway, they heard a sound. Creak. Creak. The camera turned toward the door. And there, in the hallway, an old wheelchair was slowly moving on its own. No one touched it. No one pushed it. It just moved. That was enough. The group panicked and decided to leave immediately. They rushed toward the staircase. The camera shook violently. Their breathing became loud, uneven. Footsteps echoing through the empty building. And then, for just 1 second, the camera turned backward. And in that single moment, it captured the most disturbing image of all.
On the third-floor railing stood a figure, wearing what looked like a white hospital gown. It was completely still, completely silent. Facing them, the camera zoomed in slightly, but its face was nothing but darkness. No eyes, no expression, just an empty black void where a face should have been. Then slowly, the figure climbed onto the railing, and without making a sound, disappeared into the darkness beyond. The group didn't look back again. They ran out of the building, and never returned. But the story doesn't end there. When they later reviewed the footage, they noticed something they had completely missed before. In the background audio, beneath the static, there was a soft, childlike voice, whispering, "Don't leave me here." To this day, the footage still exists online. Some people say it's fake. Some believe it was a planned hoax. But the people who live near that hospital still claim that late at night, lights can sometimes be seen inside, and footsteps can still be heard walking through the empty halls. So the question remains, was it all just imagination? Or is there still something inside that abandoned hospital, waiting for someone to come back and hear its story?